Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Other Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
I'm Isabel.
And this is a pop culture podcast that is not like other pop culture podcasts. We don't just talk about culture, we change culture. Thank you, live studio audience. I'm really glad that you're here to watch us. Just joking, there is not a live studio audience. Okay, a lot to cover today. We're going to try to do a new format. We're going to see how it goes. Let us know what you guys think. First thing is, Isabel, we're recording this pretty late. We're both kind of tired, but Isabel, anything exciting happened to you this week?
No.
Okay. And life be like that sometimes. Life be like that sometimes. It's kind of the wake up, go to work, go to bed type. Yeah.
It's very ordinary, very ordinary. But it's okay.
I get that. Yeah. No, I get that. Sometimes that's just how everything goes because that's just how it
That's just
is.
Adulting.
Yeah, adulting. That's the word I was looking for. That's just adulting. For me, last week I did Love Life. I hadn't been in Love Life in a hot second. Mm-hmm. And it was really sobering, I guess. I talked to someone who had been going consistently for the last couple of weeks since the overturning of Roe. He said they had, Love Life, for those that don't know, is this organization that tries to bring churches out to pray at the abortion facility in Charlotte, the Latrobe Drive one, and it's actually the biggest in the Southeast. It is owned by a couple that owns like 3 other ones on the East Coast. So this organization brings churches out, like the church adopts a week, and then you do like praise and worship, and then you pray. Like we walk around the building and pray. Every time I go, it's like different rules. So like sometimes you can't be on the sidewalk, sometimes you can be on the sidewalk, sometimes they can come and stand next to us, sometimes they can't stand next to us. But anyway, so this time the guy who had been going for a long time, and you can also come as an individual. I forgot to say that, but they do try to focus on getting like churches to come. But anyway, this guy, this time he said that they have been seeing license plates from like places like Texas, all the way from Texas, which is crazy. Yeah, which is crazy. So if you are, also too, what's fascinating is last Friday I spoke at a youth group, and some parents came, and one of the parents was saying how he was driving on I-77 South, and there's a billboard that says abortions are still legal in North Carolina. So for people who are coming from South Carolina, I guess. So that's quite interesting. I'm going to try to talk to there's a pregnancy center in South Carolina in Rock Hill, like right at the border. They're like the last defense in South Carolina. I'm going to talk to them and see if we can like maybe raise money to do a billboard there too. Like if you need help, pregnant, need help.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever is like catchy, whatever is the best language, but like we definitely need something because I mean it's wild.
When you told me that, I was like really sad. It's like, oh my goodness.
It is. It is.
The fact that you
I can't believe
go to the lengths to like do that.
Yeah.
To murder your baby. It's just I can't even say it, to be honest.
It was very sobering hearing that, and then there were, I think he said 33 women that went in on Saturday, which is the most since I've been there. And it's insane. It's insane. So we just really need to be praying, and we really need to be changing culture, ladies. We need to be speaking up when we can, and we need to be praying, and that will lead to the announcements. A huge announcement that I wanted to remind everyone to vote. November 8th is election day, so you have in your respective states, I'm pretty sure all states have early voting, but I know specifically North Carolina definitely does, and Texas does right now.
Texas early
voting. And your respective
started already.
Yes, North Carolina started as well. I want to say at this point, everyone's hopefully has already started. Go out and vote. Voting is so, so important. This is midterm election. I mean, I feel like I've been hearing this since I was like 10, but this election is the most important election of your lifetime.
Literally.
And it feels like it is once again, because these are the midterms. So, and a lot of people, some states, their governor is up for re-election.
So much at stake.
So much at stake right now. In North Carolina, we have the Senate race. That is a huge. In Pennsylvania, y'all have a Senate race. God bless. I'm not going to leave my comments on Pennsylvania or Georgia, but if you really want to know my thoughts on that, you can reach out to me. But God bless Georgia and Pennsylvania. North Carolina, we have a race too that's so important. Go out and read, and if you consider the life issue very important, consider voting pro-life first. So if that means that, you're really disappointed in certain things that this one politician does, but they say that they protect life, maybe consider that person. Or if you feel like they're both so bad, well, which one is protecting life? Think about it that way. That's the first announcement. The second one is we have merch. The anti-abortion social club sweatshirts, super comfy, are available on the website. Join the Patreon. Something cool is coming up in November. And then don't forget to listen to Oops, Spoilers, and Diapers and Degrees. I think that is it. I think that's it for the announcements. Yeah. All right. So I guess, we could dive right in. Like I said, we're going to try something a little different. So you guys let us know what you think. Let us have some tea. Clink. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So our first story is brought to you by BuzzFeed, everybody's favorite little Facebook news articles. Okay. Taylor Swift has removed. Oh, have you seen the Anti-Hero music video for Taylor Swift?
A little bit.
Okay, we'll be talking about that. Taylor Swift has removed the fat scale from her Anti-Hero music video on Apple Music. And then later they note that it has now been removed on YouTube. Taylor Swift's self-written, self-directed music video for Anti-Hero has been celebrated for the way it depicts the singer's greatest fears. However, a scene where Taylor stands shamefully on a scale that reads fat has received some backlash. Some argue that Taylor was trying to honestly portray her experience with an eating disorder, which she discussed in her documentary Miss Americana. However, the implication that being considered fat is one of her greatest fears is upsetting for some of her fat fans who are unlearning anti-fat messaging to embrace their bodies as they are. Now it looks like Taylor heard the feedback because the video on Apple Music has been edited to exclude the specific shot of the scale reading fat, though Taylor still stands on the scale and looks disappointed. And as of writing this, the YouTube video remains unchanged, and then there's a note. It has now changed on YouTube.
Wow.
Okay. I have lots of thoughts. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. So lots of thoughts. So I've kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this topic in general on the podcast because I feel as if the right has done a absolutely terrible job talking about, like, quote unquote fatness. I'm just going to use that term just because that's, just what it is. Mm-hmm. And I think that they could do a much better job. And as the resident fat person, in probably all of my conservative circles, I'm pretty sure I'm like so as your resident fat person, I will give you my opinion. Okay. So a couple things. I think that it's her music video. So from when I'm a Taylor Swift fan, I'm not a Taylor Swift stan. Mm-hmm. I like her music, but I'm not like obsessed with her.
Right.
And from what I've heard and learned or whatnot about Taylor Swift, is all of her music is about her life, the experiences she has had. So I think it's real for her to be for fat to be something she doesn't want to be. Like, I think that's okay for if that's her experience, then that's fine. I personally, as someone who is fat, wouldn't want anyone else to be fat. Like, I would not wish this existence on anyone. I mean, it's not fun. There are no benefits. I mean, you know, maybe I won't get kidnapped, but that's it. Like, I can't think of anything else that is positive. So, like, it is understandable for that to be a negative. And I think everybody, and what I have come to learn, especially with like meeting new people, meeting new people and having new experiences, what I've come to learn is that we are all struggling. And I will say, as someone who has struggled my entire life, I have always been the fat friend. I don't know what it feels to be the, you know, skinny pretty friend. Hearing someone who is society's version of beautiful say that they're fat does kind of, like, it's a me problem more than a them problem. Right. And at the end of the day, it's still her experience. And if your music is supposed to reflect who you are as an artist, then she should be able to express, like, this is a concern she has. And I think as a fat person myself, and people who are offended, I'm not offended at all, but the people who are offended, I think this is a time for myself and those others to kind of think about, like, self-reflect. Yeah. Like, she didn't call you fat. She didn't, you know, come through the screen and say, you fatty. Like, she literally stepped on the scale and expressed that fat was how she felt. Yeah. And the reality is fat
That's how she felt and how she felt, how she felt that she looked like in the mirror.
Yeah. And it's okay to think of fat as negative because it's not a good thing. I think right now not everybody, but people are overcorrecting, because I'm gonna be honest, like, I never really understood when people were like, yeah, like, people, some people are just mad at us fat people for just existing. I never understood that until I kind of started seeing that. Yeah. Like, I've noticed, especially, like, I'm not going to say specific names, but there's certain commentators on the right. People they just might be literally existing, and all of a sudden there's like this think piece, 30-page think piece about how, like, they're destroying America when the person is literally just existing. So I definitely understand, like, that feeling that other fat girls get. Yeah. And honestly, like, people, and the other thing too, just a side thing, if anybody was following along that drama with the bigger girl, she wasn't even fat. She was just, like, thicker girl that was in that right side promo video. If you were following along with that drama, like, people are just mean for no reason. The girl wasn't doing anything to anybody. It was just awful. Yeah. So I think that, anyway, all that back to the thing. I hate that Taylor took that out because, I mean, I don't think you should ever, if you made something that's art, I don't understand why you would, like, take it out. Like, it's how you feel. And I don't think you should ever give in to that, because no matter what, they're not going to be happy and satisfied. Yeah. I'm sure someone's going to be upset about it. I'm sure that's going to be a thing. That's the first.
I don't think she could have done right by the woke mob. You know what I mean?
Nothing. There's no way. There was, like, comments. Someone was like, well, she could have said not thin enough. And it's like, sure, she would have said that. Then somebody else would have gotten offended. Right. Like, it's just so many, nothing you could have done would have been perfect. But, like, if it's your art, then you do it. Yeah. And then just the last thing, sorry, really quick. The last thing is, like, if you are, in that fat category and you are offended, I would just say, like, take a second. Like, it has to do with us. Cause I will say when people who are, like, naturally attractive, I know that they're getting guys, I know that there's just, when they complain about, like, how they look in their weight, I do feel a little ting on me. Cause I'm like, dang, like, I'd give an arm to look like you. Perfect example. When Aisha Curry says she wished that guys were looking at her, I was like, are you kidding me? I would give a limb. I would give one of my senses to look like you. Like, how could you think that? But that's just, I mean, that's the reality. Everybody has a thing. Everybody's struggling. Yes. You just have to work on, like, your heart. Like, why are you upset that someone else is struggling, type of thing? Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm done. Go ahead. And
no, yeah, I agree with everything you said. I think it's just like, you're never going to satisfy the mob. You know, that's how she felt. That's her story. That's her story. It also looks sketchy when you remove it, because it's like, okay, so what did you mean? You know, and then they're going to question you.
That's a good point.
And everything. And it's like,
so does she mean to be fatphobic?
Right. Like, I don't know. I would be like, okay, it's sketchy. Why did you delete it after you got backlash? So if you didn't get backlash, would you still keep it? You know, but it's like, if that's your message, that's your message, you know, for you, that was your story and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So yeah, but it goes back to being like, you're never going to satisfy the mob. And, you know, I also think that like everyone's definition of like bigger and smaller is going to just differentiate between bodies, you know,
Yes.
what I
Yes.
call bigger is not going to look bigger on other bodies because it's my body. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And we all see ourselves in a different way. Like, how I see myself in the mirror. So like, I don't practice body positivity. I practice body neutrality, which is like, I don't think positively about my body, and I'm working on not thinking negatively. I'm just like, this is my body.
Mm-hmm.
So like, when I look in the mirror, what I see my body is probably a lot different than like when I'm walking down the street and someone else sees my body.
Right.
And we have to work, and we're responsible for how we feel about ourselves. We're not responsible about how other people feel about you or how other people feel about themselves either.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big thing. It's just taking responsibility. Like there's a million things I can get offended by every single day, but it's like, you know, it's a lot of that self-work of doing, you know, that inner work of like, okay, I am constantly, you know, figuring out if this is something that I need to dwell on or not. You know, most of the time something can only offend you if you let it, you know, because if you sit there and try to look for ways to get offended, you'll find them. So it's just the same thing. It's like, I'm going to purposely look for ways to not be offended. You know, what you focus on is what becomes. So I think also it's just that, you know, sometimes people like to make a big deal out of things that are just not that big of a deal, you know. I feel like kind of like her music video. You know, I would assume she didn't mean it in a malicious way. You know, most of the time things are not done in a malicious, evil way. It just might be misinterpreted wrong, you know?
We give, exactly, we give people thought bubbles.
Yep.
All we saw was her looking at a scale that said fat, and she looked disappointed. Now people have made this whole scenario that she was trying to ruin someone's life, and that she came through the screen and said, "You are fat."
It's also kind of silly.
And your mama.
And honestly, it's kind of sad because she probably was trying to like show a actual describe like an eating disorder, because women can be very thin and think that they're fat. Like that's the reality. Like I could be looking in the mirror thinking that I'm a size 12 or 14, and the reality is that's not it. I'm not a size 12 or 14, but in my head I could literally believe that, you know. So I think it's sad because I feel like that's what she was trying to get across, but instead it was taken in a very, very bad like, oh, you're fat phobic or something, you know.
And there are girls who look like her, who have that same body type, that can relate to her, that probably related to that.
Yeah, they were like,
are struggling. Yeah. And seeing her go through that probably helped them. Mm-hmm. There are girls who that could have helped. And my other thing too is like, that could not help me because, you know, my body's not like that, and I don't understand how you can look like that and think that. So then it's not for me, so I keep moving. I never thought twice about it. My brother mentioned to me, actually my brother was like, "Oh, did you see the discourse about that Taylor Swift video on Twitter?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, about the fatphobia thing. And I was like, well, I didn't even know. Cause like, it never even crossed my mind because that aspect didn't really relate to me. So I just kept moving. I kept trying to see what else was happening. And I think people think everything has to be for them. Like,
it's like when
this video is made for me.
It's like when someone's trying to talk about their weight loss and their dieting. And I'm like, I can't relate because all my life I've been trying to gain weight, you know? But am I gonna make myself a victim? Like, oh, like, no, it just doesn't pertain to me, and it's okay. Like, not everything's about me.
Right. And then if you want, you can share, oh, okay, that's what you're going through, and this is what I'm going through. Okay, how do we help each other together? Like, you don't have to, like, people act like everything has to, like, every music video has to relate to them somehow.
Yeah.
And then we put too much stock in celebrities. I was listening to a podcast that also talked about this, and she was agreeing with us, and she was saying how she saw on TikTok, someone said, I've been crying all week over this. I cannot believe Taylor Swift, my idol, would put something like that in her music video. And it's like, girl, if this ruined your week, first of all, what a lovely life you must have. If this thing ruined your week, can we trade lives?
Right.
A, and then B, why on earth does it matter that much? Like, it should not matter that much.
That this is taking over your life. Like, you have, like, there's bigger things to worry about here.
So many other things that could be more worrisome.
Right.
Speaking of worrisome things, I guess this isn't necessarily worrisome, but I didn't know how else to transition. So as everybody knows, Taylor Swift's album came out last Friday. On that day, 2 of our 2000 Queens pop girlies also released albums. Do you know who they were?
Mm-mm.
Exactly, because I feel so bad for them because I'm like, they probably tried really hard to come this day, and this is going to be my comeback. Here it is. And then Taylor goes, I'm actually releasing on Meghan Trainor.
Okay,
Remember
yes,
Meghan Trainor?
I love her.
All about that bass. Yes. She has a new album out, and Carly Rae Jepsen.
Don't know who she
Hey,
is.
I just met
Oh,
you.
yes.
And this is crazy. Yeah, so they both have two... Exactly. They both had albums come out last week, and I just thought that was so like funny / like sad.
Oh my god! I did not even
nobody
hear about that.
Cares. Yeah, I've seen Meghan Trainor. I've seen Meghan Trainor because I follow her.
Queen,
Me too, and I actually kind of like the new song. And I like the vibe.
It's a lot of
musicality.
Kind of like not a musician, but like I'm just kidding. But we used to do.
You tell us.
Back in my pro cheer days, like 10 years ago, we danced to Meghan.
Wait, I'm sorry, pro cheer? So like you cheered for like a professional football?
Not football, but soccer, which they're not even. Well, they do actually. Yes, they're still the soccer team here in Houston. But anyways, we danced to Meghan Trainor back in like 2015, and it was the Me Too. I think that's what it was called. No, wait, just kidding. No, that's not right. Meghan Trainor.
I'm gonna keep going. Meghan, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Oh my god, I can't think of the song.
Is this it? Oh wait.
No. Okay. It's like
you were like,
no, it wasn't the boyfriend one.
Why would you put that?
It was like okay. Na 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 na. You can buy me.
Oh,
that one.
Yes.
We were like, yes, banger. 5, 6, 7, 8. I love her music actually. It's not vulgar.
I like her vibe.
It's like so PG-13.
No.
Like I love her.
Yeah. Her new song is called, so everybody let's support her. Her new song is called Made You Look.
I'm like, I'm like, see? It's so like,
yeah, and it's like a cute, I don't know if you can see,
I like
cute
it.
and pink.
It's very very wholesome. It's very wholesome.
Yeah, and it's like doo-woppy, like
she's not saying, to be honest,
put on a pool
and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but to be honest, Taylor Swift, I am not the biggest fan of like love songs. I'm more of if it's gonna be a love song, it's like an R&B, like early 2000s. I am just not that girl that's gonna vibe to Taylor Swift music. I think that I'm like, and I don't know if this is my dancing background, but I am very someone that like picks up like the beat and the tune and the words. Like I listen to the lyrics, like, and so for me, like music makes me feel certain way, like a certain way. And so I'm all about lyrics. And so I feel like the music, I play it in my head. Like I am that like nerd. And to me, Taylor Swift just gives off very sad, like depressed vibes. And I'm just like, I don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling depressed. I don't like feeling like, oh my goodness, my life is horrible because I don't have a man in my life. I'm just like, I'm not about that. So I've never related to someone that's like a Swiftie fan. And I know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Please do not exit out of the podcast. She is just here temporarily. We will remove her soon. Do not worry. We will remove. Do not exit out of the podcast.
But I will say, like I do have some songs that I do like the old songs, like back in the day, 2009. That's the kind of Taylor Swift, like the upbeat, the upbeat ones.
Like the I was like, are you talking about
you know what I'm talking about?
Teardrops on My Guitar.
I don't know. I'm not good with titles. I'm just good with like if the song comes.
You're probably talking about like an upbeat Taylor song.
I'm not the cheerleader.
Look at me acting like I'm a
Whatever
huge fan.
That song goes, I'm not the cheerleader.
You belong with me. You belong with me.
I kind of
yeah. Okay. What about I Knew You Were Trouble when you walked in?
See, I like the upbeat songs. I like the hey, this is me. I'm ready to live my best life. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I like. I don't like the whole I'm gonna cry because my boyfriend broke up with me.
Like White Horse.
It's not even just her. Just in general.
Remember that one?
I can't listen to a lot of country music because it talks about like how your husband cheated and your wife cheated. And to me, I'm just like, why would I fill my mind and my heart with those things? You know what I mean? Like it makes me feel like I'll literally sit there and want to cry. I'm like, wait a second, I don't even have a boyfriend. Like, why am I sad?
That's funny. Yeah, well, her music came out, Meghan Trainor, and she is a good example of like an upbeat pop girly. Like very like, we already all about that bass. I loved that song the first time I heard it.
Girls listen to Meghan Trainor, just saying.
Yes. Oh, that's a gorgeous. We should clip that and tag her. She would probably be like,
gorgeous girls to Meghan Trainor and Taylor Swift. Okay, yes, I said
it. And she married the guy from Spy Kids.
I heard.
Jimmy. Yeah.
I love her.
The way you said it was like we went to high school together. Did you hear? She married the guy from the Spy Kids.
My next door neighbor. Meghan, yes, we're coming to your party.
Okay, cool. Have her come over, come on the podcast. I could really use the views.
Girl, we would be on Good Morning America next week if she was on.
For real. That'd be nice. But anyway, Meghan Trainor, if you're listening, shout out to you. We support you. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls. Listen to Meghan Trainor. We're Meghan Trainor fan. Look it up. We're about to become the biggest Meghan Trainor fans. I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna put it and I'm gonna see if she sees it. Carly Rae Jepsen from Call Me Maybe. She also put out a song. So Meghan Trainor did a song. Carly Rae Jepsen did an album, and her album is called The Loneliest Time. So you would not like this. Sounds sad. Well, I don't know though.
Let's get up my beat.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you want to what?
I don't know. It doesn't have... Oh, here we go. If you want to try it.
I'll try it.
Okay. If you want to try me, if you want to try love. If you leave the light on for me, if you want to try it, if you want to try it, if you want to try love. Doesn't really seem to be my taste. So Meghan Trainor, I'm excited for her song. No, I'm just joking. More of my taste, and then we can move on. But my favorite Carly Rae Jepsen song is
Friday. I'm dead.
Friday. It just reminds me, like, 2012. Yes. Like, I was a junior in high school.
Oh, I'm old.
Little did I know.
Good time.
But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about those, give them a chance to, get a little bit of someone talk about them, because everybody's been talking about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, we'll talk about Meghan Trainor and Carly Jepsen.
Rae Jepsen.
Yeah.
Jepsen?
They said Jepsen at first, but...
Jepsen? I think it's Jep.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Anyway,
that's right, baby girl.
Yay for them. Yay for them. And here's the mid-roll ad, because I couldn't think of a good transition. This next segment is going to be brought to you by Garnu. Garnu is a girls-only club. They have period care products. And your period care products should embrace women's innate femininity while empowering girls all over the world. Garnu tampons are made with 100% cotton core, and I heard from little Birdie that they'll be having pads soon. They also have period cups. So ladies, let's support this business that supports our values. They are women-owned. They're also for women only, because we know only women can get periods. And if you want to hear more about the founder and the purpose behind the brand and everything, you can listen to episode 145, where I interview Macy, the founder, hashtag woman not menstruator. And you can also head over to garnu.com and use our code othergirls10 to get 10% off of your purchase.
Love it.
Okay, our next story. This is brought to you by Yahoo News. NHS warns about trans-identifying children going through transient phase. Okay, here we go. The National Health Service is, for a second, it's kind of like, I don't know. Do you have a dog? Okay, for a second I thought I heard a dog bark, and then you went, okay, shush. But I don't think that's what you said.
I'm sorry.
But that's what I heard. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to the story. The National Health Service, NHS of England, the country's publicly funded healthcare provider.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We absolutely heard that. That was that was hilarious.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I thought it was gonna be really quiet and like.
It was almost like you put it right into the mic.
Sorry, guys. A co-host gets thirsty.
Good thing you have your Saturdays are for weekly teacaps mug. Whew, good thing. Okay, so let me start over. The National Health Service of England, the country's publicly funded healthcare provider, has warned that most children who identify as transgender are experiencing a transient phase. The statement is reflective of evidence in most cases gender incongruence does not persist into adolescence. In light of the report, the NHS will adopt a more cautious approach to treating gender dysphoria in minors, banning the use of puberty blockers in patients under 18, but for strict clinical trials. Okay, that was a weird sentence. The NHS's new clinical approach comes on the heels of the shuttering Tavistock Centre, the only clinic dedicated to treating gender dysphoria in the UK. An internal investigation revealed that Tavistock failed on several accounts, including keeping routine and consistent data, pursuing an unquestioning affirmative approach, and disregarding other health issues. But the further my transition went, the more I realized I wasn't a man and never would be. As I matured, I recognized that gender dysphoria was a symptom of my overall misery, not its cause. The consequences of what happened to me have been profound, possibly infertility, loss of my breast and inability to breastfeed, atrophied genitals, a permanently changed voice, and facial hair. When I was seen at the Tavistock Clinic, I had so many issues that it was comforting to think I really just had only one that needed solving. I was a male in a female body, Bell wrote. Bell eventually sued Tavistock and initially won the case on the basis that minors could not give informed consent concerning puberty blockers. However, last year the decision was appealed and overturned. There has been a spike in gender dysphoria referrals in the last decade. Listen to this, you guys. This number is crazy. Growing from under 250 in 2011 to over 5,000 last year. So our math girlies could do that in their head. I'm not a math girly, so I cannot do that in my head. But it went from under 250 to 5,000. That's crazy.
A lot, to be honest. Like, that's just so heartbreaking. It really
is. All of the things
it's
that
beyond
she lost,
heartbreaking.
So sad.
I don't even know how to, I just can't even imagine, truly.
So my question to you is, what should we be doing as young adult women? We're in our late 20s. We're still young. And our listeners who are also in their 20s, that have siblings, that have friends, that are questioning their gender. What should we be doing to help them? What do you think?
I mean, I think really just speaking the truth in love, you know? That's the easiest way I can put it. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
it's just not, I'm sure, I mean, it's not an easy conversation, you know? But at this point, I feel like we all know someone close to us or close to us that's close to someone that is going through it, you know? It's just crazy. And I also think that, like, right now, we're not seeing that side. You know, the media doesn't show that side, what you just shared. So
Right.
it's very hard to,
Right.
like, yeah, it's definitely tough. But I think it goes back to speaking the truth in love, you know?
Yeah. I think so too. I think for women specifically, as you guys know, this is a women's podcast. And I love women, so I want to help women. Love women platonically. For clarification. But anyway, my purpose in saying that is like when I think about it from the female perspective, from a young girl who wants to be a male, I think like one of the biggest things is just, I think, like you said, speaking the truth in love, and then like really getting to the nitty gritty of like, what do they think would be better if they were male? I've thought about this, and I don't know if I'm off base. This is just a theory, and I don't think this is for every single person. But I think about how on Twitter and in real life, and I'm not saying this is women's fault at all. I'm not saying this. But women are talking a lot about how they have experienced sexual assault, rape, and things like that. Women are talking about that, sharing their stories. And I wonder if there's young girls watching, kind of thinking like, being a woman kind of seems hard because you're going through all these things. Or if there are young girls who have gone through certain experiences like that and they're trying to figure out how to navigate that, and they're thinking, well, if I was a man, I wouldn't have experienced that. If I was a man, I wouldn't feel that way. I just wonder if there's any correlation in that. And you know, I've said this before, talking about our periods in such a negative, like, oh God, I got my period.
Or like,
you know, we're doing this in front of younger
or like,
girls.
men are horrible. Men are so bad. All men are the same.
Yeah. Men
but
are
not having like a father figure almost makes you
what?
the masculine one. You know?
Yeah. So like, I wonder if these things are kind of being translated, or like you don't realize that psychologically you're kind of starting to think, well, would it be better, especially for the younger kids?
Yeah.
Or it's middle school. I wonder if they're thinking like, would it be better if I was a man? Because if I'm a man, no one's gonna, you know, sexually assault me. If I'm a man,
like,
I don't have to worry
like being a girl is a lot
that everybody's complaining about.
Like being a girl is a lot.
Yes. It's like being
especially if you don't have a healthy, I think it goes back to like not having a healthy mother, like nuclear family. Truly. And even if you have a nuclear family, like healthy emotional support, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people, and this could be from different socioeconomic statuses. I mean, you have like, you know, you could have low income parents that give their kid the world and all the love, right? Or you could have really, really wealthy parents that don't have the time to give their kids that emotional support. And so in return, it turns into a lot of mommy, daddy issues. You know, we see a lot of males in today's world like have a very feminine traits, and you see a lot of women have very masculine traits. It doesn't even have to be like I'm full on a girl that wants to be a man or a man that wants to be a woman, you know. And so I think it also starts with the family unit. It starts with like not having a nuclear family, and not having a father figure and a motherly figure. Then in turns, it's like you don't even have like that guidance to kind of really see what a woman's supposed to be like, what a man's supposed to be like. You know, a lot of kids are raised in single mom homes and single dad homes, and
or even by their laptops,
by their phones,
they're being raised by their laptops,
by TikTok, you know, kids.
by random men
kids,
in
they
those video
want to
games.
be like, they want to feel heard, they want to feel included. I mean, I think everyone, no matter what age you are, you know, you never want to feel like that person that's left out, you know. You always want to feel included. And I think with kids, it's like, teenagers specifically, I see from my little sister, it's like they always want to be included, they always want to feel like they're doing the popular thing, you know. And I think sometimes they get caught up on trends, like what's trending on TikTok and stuff. And so if they constantly see like, oh, you know, I'm being a woman today and I'm being a man today, and it's just like they pick on that and they think that that's something that's like, oh, I can do that too, you know. Like it's so acceptable and stuff. And so I mean, that's just like my 2 cents. But I also think it comes from that.
Yeah. And I think that recognizing, it's good that this NHS is recognizing it, and hopefully the USA will start recognizing that, at least for children, like, let's hold off.
Right.
Like, kids can change their mind. I wasn't one of those girls, but I hear about it all the time. That there's tons of girls that were kind of tomboyish, that were liked wearing, you know, being in the mud and stuff like that. Once again, that wasn't me, but I hear about it all the time. Right. And thank God that their parents just let them do that, let them grow out of that. And I think also, too, what is another thing that, you know, we talk about the patriarchy and whatnot. I feel like the idea that for girls to be men, the idea that things are better as a man is kind of, that feels very kind of like what they were talking about, like patriarchy. And then when men transition to women, and when men transition to women, there are all of these like stereotypes. I mean, we talked about that guy. I don't want to say his name anymore. I don't want to give him any more clout, but like, when you think about that person in particular, he's all of these stereotypes. So it's like, I don't know, that feels very like that patriarchy that they're always talking about, that's so bad and evil, like that. They're being a stereotype. They're saying that life is better as a man. Yeah. I don't know. That's another conspiracy thing I had going through my head too.
It's wild for sure. And it's just, like I said, it's really sad because, you know, they do all this in hopes that it'll fix what they're feeling and what they're going through. But in reality, it doesn't fix anything. And if anything, it makes them even more lost and confused, it's just really sad from an outsider perspective, like seeing someone you love, you know, go through that, and only to find that it, you know, even when they did do X, Y, and Z, it didn't fix what we're hoping it would, you know? So I think that's the hardest part too, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a lie that they're being sold.
That's
and that,
true.
You know, ultimately it leads to even more heartbreak and hopelessness and despair. And it's just like, wow, like, you know?
I think you nailed it on the head. She said in here, there were other things. Let me see if I can find it really quick. So she had so many issues that it was comforting to think I really only had one that needed to be solved. And I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, they do the same thing with when they recommend you get on birth control. There's
retired.
Not the same thing. Yeah, not the same thing, but kind of sort of. But that's what they do when they say to get on the pill, is they're just kind of, oh, here's this one fix, but really it's not fixing like the actual root of everything. So we have one final story. And this, it's the OG scientific thing, or weird fact. This is like a weird thing. You're going to be like, ooh, but I thought I heard it on the news and I was like, oh, I want to talk about it. And this is brought to you by American Woman Beauty. They are a beauty brand for the fearless, free-thinking woman. Join the booty revolution. Also join the beauty revolution. They have lipstick, mascara, eyeshadows, and other beauty products handmade, and they're made in the USA. Head to AmericanWomanBeauty.net and use the code MAL15 to get 15% off. Okay, so also too, let's get to the next story, our final story. All right. Rats with backpacks can help rescue earthquake survivors. Earthquakes, flooding, and hurricanes can cause enormous damage to infrastructure and trap people inside collapsed buildings. A new project from Belgian nonprofit APOPO is trading rodents to search the rumble of disaster zones for survivors and kitting them with tiny high-tech backpacks to help first responders communicate with them. Quote, rats are typically quite curious and like to explore, and that is key for search and rescue, end quote, says Donna Keene, a behavioral research scientist and leader of the project. In addition to their adventurous spirit, their small size and excellent sense of smell make rats perfect for locating things in tight spaces, says Keene. The rats are currently being trained to find survivors in a simulated disaster zone. They must first locate the target person in an empty room, pull a switch on their vest that triggers a beeper, and then return to base where they are rewarded with a treat. So really quick,
Sorry.
I laughed because I was just, I laughed like in the middle because I was just imagining like you're trapped and then you see this disgusting rat come and you kill it and the rat's supposed to save you, but you're feeling terrible like, oh god, I'm stuck here. Is anybody gonna find me? At least this rat.
I'm
like,
glad I know that
rat
now.
die.
So
You're
if
like
I
killing
am
it
in a
'cause you're
predicament,
like,
I see a rat.
you gotta check it for the vest. Now, everyone listening, now you know if you are in a collapsed building and you see a
That's
rat
hilarious.
with a vest, the rat is there to
Do not
save
be afraid
you.
of the rat. That's hilarious.
Do not be afraid of the rat.
That's hilarious.
So I just found that really interesting and I wanted to share with everybody.
That is so funny, actually. I hate rats.
What would you do if you saw a rat?
I would scream.
Okay.
I would scream
So
bloody
that
murder.
answered that.
Now that I know that, I would be like, I would scream bloody murder. But also be like, all right, well, I guess this is the way I survive. Oh, I just hope I'm never in that position, truly. I also do not, I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? And I would like die just
Claustrophobic,
without being like in a tight space. Ugh, I don't even want to think about it. And I hate rats. Oh my god, that would be my worst nightmare.
That's what I'm saying.
I know,
Why
but then
pick
again,
rats? Like,
okay, so
I
get it though, because rats are like so smart if you think about it, and also they've been around for years and years and years, and they have no freaking shame. They have no freaking shame. I went to New York several times now, and this is like pre-COVID, and I remember like, oh my god, I don't even want to think about it, but like I remember big rats.
They're as big as cats.
So big, and they were like in the subway, and I was like it's crazy how like Hollywood makes like certain cities look like they're just paradise. It was not a paradise. I was like, this is so disgusting.
No, and New York is the dirtiest. Exactly. No offense to New York.
Yeah,
no offense to you people, but
disgusting.
It's the dirtiest city I've ever been to. Yeah,
they're just so like nasty to me, and I just think about like diseases when I see them, and I just like when I see them, I act like I see them every day.
When I see them, I think about diseases. They're disgusting. I don't want them. And let me tell you, if I see one on the street, it is on site.
Yeah, I just freaking hate them and their long tail. Oh, but I was gonna say, yeah, I heard. I mean, I've heard they've lived through like everything, like nuclear. Like I heard if there was like a nuclear war or something, like rats would survive, or and roaches. Yeah, girl. And roaches like really, Lord.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of questions to us. A lot of questions to us, Jesus. Right. But yeah, oh, okay, so last thing I was gonna say about rats. Apparently, like they have like very soft bones. And so that's why that's why they can get into like crevices. And so no wonder they would pick rats. Like you're like, why would they pick rats? But like it makes sense because I think their eyesight, they can see really well in the dark, and their bones, they have like basically very flexible bones to the point where like they can like basically crunch into very, very small spaces.
And that also makes them harder to kill.
Can you not talk about it? I want to throw up.
Disgusting. Ugh. Well, I have one thing that's like really funny. Have you seen this, the New York lady? Okay. It is about rats, but have you seen her talk about her announcement? No. It was all over TikTok. It's so funny. It's so funny. 1 second. So apparently New York is having a huge rat problem. So they held a press conference. And this is what I think she's the health director said.
absolutely going to hate this announcement.
Wait, let me start it over.
We do.
Okay.
I'm dead.
Okay, here we go.
The rats are absolutely going to hate this announcement. But the rats don't run the city. We do. This is not Ratatouille. Rats are not our friends. The rats are absolutely going to hate this announcement.
I'm sorry, that is so funny. The first time I heard that, I was like, wait, is this a skit? What movie is this from? And like, that's real life. The rats are absolutely not. Wait, no. The rats are going to hate this announcement. The rats don't run this city. We do. That's so funny. I've been trying to figure out, like, how do I use that in a TikTok sound? I just think that's so funny. The rats are going to hate this announcement.
You know,
they don't run
the
city.
Like little
we
rats,
do.
Like...
Right? And they're like looking at each other like they run when they see us. I'm just like, good point. Valid. Ooh, oh my, okay. I think I would have a pet mouse. I think mice are actually kind of cute. Like the little tiny ones. Okay, I also just saw this video of this woman. It won't take too long to... I haven't told it yet. You said, Oh, I thought you were saying, to what I was like, wait, I hadn't told you what happened. So she had a pet snake, and I think she was, like, trying to, like, demonstrate, like, what does a snake, like, do a video? Someone was filming her. The snake grabbed her, and was like, grabbed her. She opened the cage and was like, okay, this is my snake, this is my pet snake. And it grabbed her, she was bleeding. Like, it was so bad, she was bleeding. And it was like starting to wrap around her. And then someone comes in, like, trying to help. And then the person filming is like, do you want me to keep filming? She's like, yes, I want you to show, like, this is what sometimes happens. And I'm like, what on earth? And it was like wrapping, like, it grabbed her and then it was like wrapping around her. I was like, oh my gosh. So, like, okay, I think I would prefer a snake if it was tiny. Like, one of my friends has a really, really tiny snake. I would prefer that. But those big snakes, and I mean, I don't know if you heard, but a grandmother was just swallowed alive. And this is not a joke. They were trying to, I should have, no, I think it was in, like, let me look it up really quick. That does sound like, you know what? It does sound like a Florida story. Let me look it up Grandma eaten by python. A missing grandma was swallowed alive by a 22-foot long python in Indonesia. Authorities say a missing Indonesia grandmother. Well, like, not a python. Yeah, if it's not a big snake, I think I'd do the snake. I wouldn't do the rat. I don't mind snakes. I just don't like them big. When they're big, I'm like, okay, let me just step. Like, if it looks like, and if it doesn't look well fed, because realistically, a snake isn't going to be able to swallow me. But I also don't want it to try. You know, I don't want it to, like, you know what? I am hungry, and I don't. Right. Like, I think it wouldn't swallow me, but I also don't want it to. Oh, yeah, for sure. I don't think I've seen that movie, but I have seen snakes on a plane. But yeah, you guys, that's been the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of things to discuss with the girlies. Let us know, would you rather have a snake or a rat? Also, too, what would you do if it's the worst day of your life because your building has collapsed and you saw a rat come sit next to you with a little vest on? Tell us, how would you feel? What'd you say? I was going to say, you take your phone out and, like, yeah, go live. Y'all aren't going to believe what I have next to me. While you... But yeah, so let us know. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Also rate it. I think you should just go ahead and give it a 5-star. I mean, that's just my opinion, you know. And then if you are listening on Spotify really wants us to, want people to listen there. So let's do that. If you're listening on Spotify, please give us a rate there. And then also to answer our poll, we'll have a poll on there, and let us know if you're listening through Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, take a picture and tag us, A, and then B, make sure you subscribe. We finally did it, ladies. There's more ladies watching than men. Wait, here we go. There's more ladies watching than men. We did it! So let's keep that up, A. And then B, please make sure you subscribe and then leave a comment. Comment below. Let us know how you feel if you saw a rat on the absolute worst day of your life in a little vest. And make sure you let the rats know that they do not run New York City. The humans do. I guess that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You guys have a good rest of the day, night, evening, however, whenever you are. Bye.